Welcome to another edition of Power Core Productions and Podcastings. In today's video, we're going to be continuing Day Alive Spirit of the Spider, What If Shido with Spider-Man 2099 Season 1, Part 4. First off, I do want to apologize. The last video that I made, I didn't do an intro or an outro because over this weekend, my voice disappeared. Like, it was horrible. I'm feeling better today. I'm so glad that this thing is winding down. We've only got this week and next week to go until it's basically a wrap. We have 3 stories remaining on the channel. Each one has 2 parts respectively. So by Saturday, we will officially be done with all of our stories for the Spider-Verse, and then we can get into the crossover event, which I have decided that the first movie, both movies were originally going to be ReZero movies, like a 2-parter, but instead, the Spider-Verse event, it will be in 2 parts, but the first part will be a Day Alive movie, and then the second one will be ReZero, and that's how we're going to end out the Spider-Verse. But as always, thank you for your support. Thank you for watching and being a part of this ride as we now near the end. Anyway, without further ado, let's get into today's video. So as always, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. For Shido and Mana, this wasn't necessarily the way that each sibling wanted to reveal their secret identity. Mana being a spirit hunter, and Shido, well, being the infamous Spider-Man, or the spirit supporter, as word was going about within the spirit hunting community. In either case, Kurumi loved the sibling conflict, although right now she had more pressing matters to deal with, like getting her hands on Shido. Of course, Mana wasn't going to let that happen, and the two found themselves engaging in combat. Shido wasn't sure of what to do. However, instinctively, he found himself jumping into the fray, kicking both girls back in opposite directions. Mana would yell and admonish Shido for getting in her way. This is what she was supposed to do. The only way the world could be safe is if the spirits were dead, and Nightmare was the worst of them. Kurumi shared the same sentiment. She was more than willing to go into a fight with Mana. They had done this time and time before, and every time it made no difference. Mana could kill her, but she would never stay dead. It was like a dog chasing its tail. It's cute, but in the end, you'll never catch it. And even if you caught it, it wouldn't really amount to much. All the same though, Shido had made a vow. He was not going to let Kurumi die. And at the same time, he wasn't going to let his sister kill either. What followed was a 3-way dance of sorts, each one fighting and attempting to stop the other. Shido trying to keep the two from killing each other. Mana trying to get in, even being a bit more aggressive towards Shido, knocking and slamming him around a few times just to get to Kurumi. Kurumi taking her shots at both of them, although surprisingly enough, her game would be thrown off when Shido would move her out of the way of a hit. It would all come to a head when Shido moved Kurumi out of the way once again, Kurumi firing a shot that hit Shido in the leg, and at the same time Mana, not being able to stop where her trajectory was going, ended up stabbing her blade through Shido's left arm. Shido found himself falling to the ground. For Kurumi, in that one moment, she found herself being worried. No, she could never be worried about him. He was just a means to an end, but still, he took that hit for her. Mana was so preoccupied that she didn't even bother going after Kurumi anymore. All the same, Ritasker would arrive to pick up Shido, and now Mana would see firsthand whom her brother was working with. As for Kurumi, She would decide to take her leave for now. But yet, as she tried to forget, while she tried to get over it, what Shido had done for her, it wouldn't leave her mind. Later on that night, Shido found himself sitting alone as Toka would arrive and sit next to him. She had learned from Reina what had happened, and after learning the truth, she was understanding of why Shido had been acting the way that he had that day. As his wounds were recovering nicely, since there wasn't anything too bad, nothing he couldn't deal with, Shido would confide in Toka. He wondered if he had been doing the right thing. It wasn't like he had a hate for the spirits. He had actually come to understand them, to learn just who and what they truly were. But Kurumi was a murderer. She had killed, and Shido couldn't take that away, but at the same time, the sympathy that he held for her, he didn't want her to die. He wanted her to have a chance. Toka would tell Shido that it was that sort of thinking. It was why she was drawn to him. She would admit that she and Kurumi were a lot alike, despite Shido trying to protest. In truth, they were spirits. Everything about them was the same, how they got to this world, how they became who they were. The only difference is that Kurumi didn't have someone like Shido in her life. For Toka and for Yoshino, when they were in need, when they needed someone to help them, Shido offered his hand. He fought for them. He protected them. He even laid down his life for them. When someone does something like that for you, then of course you want to reciprocate the same feeling. It makes you try to want to be better. For Toka, if she didn't have Shido, then maybe she would have ended up like Kurumi. So for Shido, she didn't want him to give up. To stop Kurumi, yes, but also to save her. To save a fellow spirit in need. When they went back to school, Kurumi would be there, normally dressed in her school attire as always. Shido, in the meantime, with his arms still wrapped in bandages, although it had healed more or less for the most part, he stood at his locker, closing it to find the young girl standing next to it. Kurumi would be surprised to see him back, and for once, she didn't have a quick one-liner to jut out. When she saw his arm, she was reminded. Don't you think you should be taking it a bit slower? I mean, if you wanted to stay home, it's... Kurumi, Shido would move them to a private area where they could be alone. Shido, you naughty boy. You think we'll get caught if I'm being serious right now. I will not let you kill anyone else, nor am I going to let you be killed. Let me be killed? Shido, dear, I don't think you understand how this works. You and your sister, long-lost stepsister, little party thingy, I don't know, whatever that pool you've got going on there, you guys don't get to kill me. I mean, it's cute that you all think you make the rules around here. I mean, truly, it's quite admirable. But I can't die. You all can't kill me. You can't stop me. I'm going to do what I want, and I'm going to take you, Shido. It's not a matter of if, it's only a matter of when. And don't worry, I've got all the time in the world, as you can clearly see. So, why don't you stop this little hero charade? I promise I can make it pleasurable, enjoyable. You won't feel a thing. She caressed her hand to his face, only for her wrist to be grabbed. Not violently, but firmly, as Shido looked into her eyes. As they came face to face, even under his sunglasses that he used to protect his now sensitive vision, Kurumi could still see into the pupils, the iris. What she saw behind those tinted lenses, something feral, something akin to a beast. It caused her to tremble for a moment. A tinge of fear, excitement, the thrill. You're just like me. I'm not. Yeah. I gotta say, even under those glasses, I love it when you look at me like that. I'll be seeing you around, Shido. For the most of the school day, everything seemed to be normal for the most part. Kotori had excused herself from Ratayasker as she and Mana had a meeting of sorts. Mana not liking the fact that her brother was involved with the likes of Ratayasker. And for Kotori, the fact that Shido's sister was working with someone like the Deus Ex Machina, a group of sorts that had been supplying spirit-killing weapons to many organizations, including the AST. You got my brother wrapped up in this nonsense. You haven't been really doing much of a good job as the little sister, so I'm going to take that role, and we're going to be taking Shido. You talk as if you own him. And what do you mean we? Shido has great power and ability. They could be better used serving what? To make him a weapon like you? You don't even know what they did to you, or who or what you truly are. What are you talking about? Kotori would have the chance to reveal a truth to Mana. The truth being was that the girl had been artificially pumped with spirit energy. So much so that for the great power that it gave her, allowing her to fight on par with spirits like Nightmare, it greatly reduced her lifespan. At most, she might only have 10 more years left to live. However, before their conversation could continue, Kotori and Mana would be given an alert. Something was happening at the school. A barrier had been erected, and everyone within it was starting to pass out, save for Shido, Toka, and Origami. Each one who had different aspects of ways of helping them to fight off the effects of the barrier. Shido would suit up, donning the spider suit, as the intercoms would call out to him, telling him to meet on the rooftop. Origami would hear this. If Shido was going to be meeting with her, then he would be in trouble. However, in the halls, a Kurumi would be there to stop her. The same with Toka, while the one Kurumi was on the roof waiting as the Spider-Man would come bursting through. As quick as ever, but I expect no less from the hero. Kurumi, Shido would say, you need to stop this. I know what I'm going to do. But like that old saying goes, you can't make an omelet without cracking a few eggs. I'd say a couple of 1,000 eggs in this particular case, but you get the idea. This barrier, it does more than just keep everyone subdued. It helped refill what I need the most. What you need the most? She would reveal her other eye to Shido. Her left eye that looked like a golden clock, with the arms spinning within it. My power requires time. Unfortunately, all by myself, I don't have a lot of it, so I have to take it from others. But you, Shido, you're entirely different. Your genetic makeup, everything about you. It's something delightful. If I could get my hands on you, to have all of your essence, every single drop, I could accomplish what I need to. And I must say, Shido, you are truly cute. The two would then engage in battle, Shido using his reflexes and his speed to outmatch Kurumi and the other Kurumis that came with her. You're able to clone yourself? Clone? No. You could say that these are nothing more but time remnants. I pull myself from various points in time to help serve my cause and will. Since we're all aligned together and share the same purpose, they come willingly without any need, rhyme, or worry. I've been doing this for a long time, Shido. I've been across so many places in time. Do you know how many of me there are? Just think, I could pull me from 1 second into the future. You know how many seconds makes up a minute, right? 60 seconds. If I pulled a me from the future, every second from the future and from the past, that's close to almost 120 of me, already ready to fight, all bearing the same power that I do. Now imagine if they pulled upon their own time remnants as well. You see where this is going, don't you? You could just keep pulling yourself infinitely from the past and from the present, no matter how far. Exactly. And as long as we're in a realm where time exists, I am virtually immortal. I can never be beaten because you simply can never beat me. You might beat a version of me, maybe 5 seconds into the future, but what if someone comes from the past or from the further future? In the end, I am the master of time. Everything, all that I bear comes through my domain. And yet you somehow have the power to match me. Isn't that curious? I must say, out of everyone and everything, you are the one thing that I cannot fully predict. I can look into time, I can see so many aspects, so many things, but you, there's something about you, isn't there? You're not normal, at least you know you're not. But there's no point in me spoiling the fun. In the end, all I want is you. I'll free everyone else. I'll get rid of the barrier. All you have to do is take back what you said. You don't want to save me. I know you don't. The alarm for the spatial quake would start to activate. As it did, Shido would grow fearful. Kurumi, what are you? If you don't take back what you said, I'm gonna cause so much death and destruction, I'll be the last person you want to save. Everyone's gonna die, and it's all going to be your fault. Shido, allow me to give you a bit of advice. Don't try to fight fate. It's impossible. And trust me, I should know. I've seen all fates, including yours. I have watched you die 1,000 times. This is the only out I'll give you, because this will be no different. You come and go, Shido, but one way or another, I will have what I've come for. Shido didn't know what to do. He didn't have the power to stop a spatial quake. He knew he didn't. But maybe Shido would shoot webbing off to the sides of the railings. As he shot more and more webs, he did so quickly, creating a large cocoon, if you will, trapping him and Kurumi inside. You think this is gonna stop me? It's cute, but it's... Shido placed his hand over his heart. If you know so much about me, then you know that I've been storing up spirit energy, and I've got 2 spirits already sealed inside. What exactly are you getting at? You're gonna try to set off a spatial quake, aren't you? An explosion of that size, it'll take out the whole city. But if I counter with my own, then you'll have no choice but to retreat now, won't you? Come on. You really think that you can call a bluff like, even if you know so much about me, then why haven't you made a move sooner? Why am I the one you're after? I already know. You might be able to peer into my future. You might be able to see so many things about me. But I'm the one that's worth something to you now. Not me from the past and not me from the future. Just me, the one standing right here. It means I'm the one holding all the cards. I'm going to match your spatial quake with one of my own. If you do that, there's a high chance I'll probably only cause more damage. Or we might just cancel each other out. You idiot! You're not a spirit from birth. If you try to do that, you're only going to... kill myself? Yeah, I figured. Are you insane? Are you really willing to take that type of gamble against me? All for what? Simple. To try to save everyone here, and I deny you what you want. You're a fool to try to do that. Denying a girl what's rightfully hers. You're just not playing fair. Shido would concentrate the spirit energy inside of him, doubling the effects of the spatial quick alarm. You really want to do this? I've already died once before, but you probably already know that. I don't really fear what comes after, so let's go together. In a fit of rage, Kurumi would stop her spatial quake and undo the barrier, and Shido would stop his also, destroying the cocoon that he had trapped them both in. The other Kurumis all stood on guard, not sure of what to do next, all of their guns trained on Shido. However, the one Kurumi that led them raised her hand to stop them. You are truly a piece of work. You know that, Shido Itsuka? I've been told. Kurumi, this has to stop. You don't have to kill. You don't have to be... Before Shido even had a chance to finish, multiple shots would rain down upon him, tearing through at some of his suit, the form of armor that protected him. By the time Origami and Toka arrived to the rooftop, Origami didn't see Shido anywhere but simply the Spider-Man. And Toka didn't make it any better by yelling out Shido's name and Spider-Man looking in her and Origami's direction. But now Origami knew the truth. Shido was Spider-Man. All of these people getting involved, everyone coming around, it was starting to get truly annoying. Mana would be the first to arrive, and looking to finish what they started, Mana and Kurumi would begin their fight once more. Shido helping trying to subdue the other Kurumis, Toka using what little of her strength she had left summoning her sword, and Origami fighting alongside them. However, in the end it was too much for them to overcome. Shido being the only one left standing, but even still, there was only so much that he could do. Even if he had the power to match, Kurumi had time, literally. Shido didn't have the precognition to sense the future or look into the future. At the best, his reflexes could only react at the last moment, but still, it wasn't enough. Kurumi would assure Shido that the kid gloves were coming off, and that this game was coming to an end. Although one more participant would come to play, Shido looking to the sky, and whom he thought he saw. Kotori? No. Well, yes, it was Kotori, but it wasn't her. It was Kotori who was adorned in flames. For Origami, even as she was passing out, she got a look at the girl dressed in flames. Ifrit. You. As Kotori would now confront Kurumi, the Master of Time and the Master of Flames would engage in combat, with Kotori's overwhelming force and strength being able to match Kurumi and push her to submission. Kurumi found herself staring down the barrel of the flaming spear, ready for the incineration. However, Shido would step in the way, stopping Kotori from committing the act, giving Kurumi the chance to escape. For Kurumi now, she had a mixed jumble of emotions, but it was mainly Shido, the way that he had acted, trying to stop her at every turn. It was annoying, to say the least, and yet at the same time, a hint of gratitude from which she wasn't entirely sure. Shortly after, Shido and Kotori would have a talk. Kotori would explain to Shido what she knew. From what she understood, she was a human. She was born as a human. But sometime 5 years ago, for some inexplicable reason, she became a spirit. Or rather, the power of the spirit was now within her. A power that she had to have sealed away. For Shido, he vaguely remembered the incident of 5 years ago. He remembered there being a girl dressed the way Kotori was in her flame spirit form. Now he knew that that was Kotori. But still, had Kotori been the one that caused the fire? Or was it something else? And if it was something else, was it the same thing that caused Kotori to become what she was? The two would speak with Madame Webb about the incident. She had been recovering nicely, and she had now been briefed on the situation. But for Madame Webb, even she didn't fully understand. All she knew was that 5 years ago, she came across that incident, that attack. She found Kotori, the poor girl, with little recollection of what had happened. She took her in, trained her up, was able to get her to get that power under control, although it still needed to be sealed away. It was around that time that they learned Shido could have the potential to sealing away spirits, but it was only recently they were able to confirm that. And with that confirmation, it meant that Shido was going to have to seal away Kotori's powers, meaning it looks like they were going to have to go on a date. However, before that date, Shido had to make another visit to both Mana and Origami. For Mana, she was being kept under tight security. However, Shido, using his abilities, was able to sneak past the guards and was able to visit her for a short while and sneak out before being caught. For Origami, she wasn't in any tight-knit security, so visiting her wasn't too much of a difficulty, although she definitely didn't make it easy on Shido. No, what started out as trying to help the girl to her bed soon turned to feeding her apples. Fingers got sucked on a little too succulently. It was a awkward, awesome, still awkward experience, and Shido, at least glad that she was okay, was getting ready to leave when Origami would confront him on the truth. You're the Spider-Man, aren't you? Shido, with his back turned to her standing at the doorway, only took a deep breath. I wouldn't confirm that, but if I was, Shido would say, would it change anything? Of course not. Even if you are the Spider-Man, Origami would say, knowing the truth herself, Origami knew for a fact she wouldn't turn Shido in. After all, he hadn't broken any laws. I mean, the only thing he had done was show up at a couple of incidents where spirits were around. But now for Origami, she could now confirm that it was Shido. He was the Spider-Man. Why are you involved with them? Why are you helping them? I'm just trying to find a better way. But Shido, they're dangerous. If you keep getting involved, then I know, I could die. But everyone deserves a chance, even them. If they haven't harmed or killed anyone, then making sure that they become non-aggressive, isn't that a better outcome than just killing? Fine. Then let me ask you this. Before I passed out, there was another spirit, wasn't there? One in flames? Shido still hadn't turned back to her. However, a bead of sweat fell down the side of his face at that mention. Shido, I need you to tell me everything that happened yesterday. No matter how minuscule the detail, I need to know. If that spirit is who I think it is, the flame spirit Ifrit, then my chance has finally come. What do you mean? Shido would ask. 5 years ago, I lost my parents. Shido knew this, but the details. It was Ifrit. Ifrit, the flame spirit, murdered my parents. This concludes Data Live Spirit of the Spider, Whether Shido was Spider-Man 2099, Season 1, Part 4. Stay tuned for tomorrow's video as we continue Rosario Vampire Scarlet Knight, What If Skune was Spider-Man, Season 1, Part 4. But anyway, that's going to do it for the end of today's video. I'm Javon Harrington with PowerCore Productions and Podcastings. Signing off, and I'll see you next time.